Streaming live on YouTube.
It's live now. You can start it.
Damn, still dark.
Start off with the.
This is FNG Madden. I was born to be a champion, raised in the jungle. All my life, yeah, I had to fight the FNG. Let's go live tonight. I was born to be a champion, raised in the jungle. All my life, yeah, I had to fight the FNG. Let's go live tonight. You can move on your own, Ouija moves, dancing in the end zone, crush groove. All we do is get dubs, hate to lose. We can do this all day, no snooze. Only get it popping if you saying that you popping, dog. Never will I lose to a noob, just won't happen, y'all. Call a deep pass, watch flash with the blindfold. Gonna pass the check, better yet, put them up quick. Hear them hating from the side, Twitch watch. I guess you say it's about time, TikTok. FNG, where we at? On top. Other leagues can't win, flip flop. I was born to be a champion, raised in the jungle. All my life, yeah, I had to fight FNG. Let's go live tonight. I was born to be a champion.
Greetings, FNG. Here we are on the 21st FNG show. Man, that's a shit ton of shows here. I'm cursing already. It's your triple OG / triple OG Philly Jedi NFC representative into the Super Bowl. And I'm going to introduce my co-host. And first, I'm going to introduce our engineer, Mr. Boyquino 22, Hosian. He's the other commissioner. What's going on, brother?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
We appreciate you engineering the show today. Our current engineer had a prior obligation, so we're going to press on and keep the show going for you guys. And just so everyone knows, we are live on YouTube. So if you want to comment, Dr. Hosian is going to be reading your comments off as well. So when you get in there, announce that you're here so we know. Next person I'm going to introduce is the guy right below me on the screen, Mr. Mike, the Steelers owner. What's going on, brother? Engineering the show today.
How y'all doing?
Had a yeah, we're on. We're definitely on. Press on and keep the show on for you guys. And just so everyone knows, we're live on YouTube. So we're gonna mute him.
Yeah, I turned the volume down.
Your comments off as well. So
yeah.
You get in there.
All right.
You there?
How y'all doing?
What's going on, Mr. Mike? Good to see you here. And the last person we're going to introduce, we're going to start off with the reigning FNG champion for season 4, Sydney, aka Debo, Chargers owner. I know him as Harris. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody? How everybody doing today?
Let me give you the middle finger now before we go into the standings.
Too early, man.
But before we even do the standings, exactly, giving you out middle fingers and everything. We can't really do the standings or anything in reference to season 5, which we are in season 5. Because everybody in the league's been doing real well with the advancing and getting their games done and readying up. We got to go over, the last thing we went over was the NFC and AFC championship. So we didn't go over the FNG Super Bowl. That's the one you and I were in, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, refresh my memory. What was the score of that game?
Believe it or not, it was actually similar to the original game the 49ers and Chargers played. It was 49 to 28. That game back in history was actually 49 to 26. So it was close.
So I did 2 points. I did 2 points better than last time, huh?
Yeah. Wasn't too bad.
All right. Well, let's not hear so much from him right away. Did either the two of you see the game? Watch the Super Bowl? You didn't watch it? Okay. What about you?
I did watch.
Mike,
I watched that game. I was in the chat room with Harris.
So all
him level.
Luck was with Harris. So what'd you think of the game? Give me your opinion.
I thought it was a very well played game on both sides. You know, very few mistakes happened. You know, it was. You know, I think really what salted it away was he stopped you a couple of times without you scoring, and that was it.
Yeah. It's at 42-28, right?
49.
49.
49-28. So that's
Don't
24
take points
points
away from me.
But I remember that game, and I remember feeling good going into the game. I feeling like I had a very good chance to win, regardless of the last game that we played, in which I had a reason to win it, but really just I needed some film on you, some real good film on you, some actual film where things mattered. Because at the time we played, you were still in the number 1 seed race with the Ravens, right? Because the Ravens were undefeated, so you still needed that game in case the Ravens took a scheduled loss. So I knew you were going to at least be playing your guys. So again, going into that game, I felt good about my offense. I did not like what was happening on the ground for me. Your guys seemed like they were doing a lot of block shedding up front. And you didn't seem like you were blitzing so much. There was blitzing, but it wasn't like super commit to blitzing. And what did I misread that on offense, or were you blitzing a lot? What do you think?
In the beginning, I wasn't blitzing as far as stopping a run, but I was really running through different run defenses to figure out like what I really needed to stop you. I was worried about Breida. I wasn't worried about nothing else. Wasn't worried about Garoppolo. I was worried about Breida. I did not want him to get loose. So once I found a defense to actually go ahead and stop the run, and I was surprised it was a man-to-man defense, and it actually was 2 linebackers blitzing. I just kept guys, go outside, because I know you like to sometimes go in the middle then break it out. So I was like, okay, we're going to stop that. So I had my defensive linemen crashing in, had my linebackers spread out every now and then, or I'll spread them out manually, and I just controlled the safety as a cleanup guy, and it worked out. It worked out perfect. So
yeah, there was a big shift once I got stopped, because I think initially when you first got the ball, I had a lot of success against you defensively. So even though you might have been slowing my run game down, I was like, well, I think we're going to be able to stay in this game. Right. And so I felt like it was going to be close. And then when you got on offense again, I think I made a defensive error and gave up a big run and then a big pass. Especially I remember one down the middle.
That was the first one.
Yeah, that's the one that I feel. That's the one I feel that hurt the most. What did you remember on that play?
I just remember going up the middle, and my plan was to break it outside. Honestly, it was originally a dive play, but I went up the middle and just like a suction towards the defensive, I believe it was defensive tackle or linebacker, whoever that was that hit him first, and somebody else hit Melvin, then it was just off to the races. Yeah.
No. I'm sorry, you didn't get. You broke like 4 or 5 tackles in between my defensive tackles and your center, and then my linebacker hit him, and then once that third person hit him, gone.
Yeah.
So Melvin earned his MVP. I was disappointed, as you could tell by anybody who was watching my broadcast. It's still up there if you want to see it. I was disappointed in the performance of my defense in reference to tackling, because I didn't hit stick, and at least didn't attempt to hit stick. But as they say, when you're in Baltimore, it bees that way sometimes.
It be like that, yeah. Sometimes it be
like that. But I felt like it was a good Super Bowl because I started to get my feet under me, and my offense started to at least have a little bit more success. But I felt like it was just not enough at that point. At that point, you had developed enough of a lead so that even when I was scoring, you would get a tossed pass to the corner or a big run outside, or you get a clutch first down. And it was just enough plays made by you to keep yourself out in front versus anything that I was doing successfully. You just kept the distance. So I wasn't really gaining any ground. So, and towards the end, I'm sure this happened, even if you didn't say it. You didn't care what the end score was. If I had any success, it didn't matter because you had enough. There wasn't enough time for me to score this many times to catch back, so you knew the game was pretty much over. So I'm sure I got some sympathy points toward the end.
Surprisingly, my quarterback actually did very well that game. I was very surprised at Carlson. He was 8 for 8 for 337 yards, I believe 3 touchdowns.
Perfect quarterback rate.
Yeah, perfect QBR. I was surprised at that.
I missed a couple opportunities for picks, in that game, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually better than that user-wise. There was a pick in the end zone where your tight end was wide open. I was standing right in front of the goalpost. You're probably on like the 4-yard line. And this is late in the game, but it was close enough to where I was like maybe 14 points, maybe 20 points away, and on the 3-4 yard line, 5-yard line maybe, and you throw it to him. I'm standing, I start running toward him, and I stop, and the ball continues to the tight end. There were two guys there, but it was a pass that I would usually pick off normally, and I think just wasn't good enough. Just didn't have enough to beat the season 1 champion. So now you're a 2-time champion in FNG in your first time in the league.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Hey, it feels good, man. It feels like I'm accomplishing a lot of things, man. I'm trying to keep it going, trying to catch up to your trophy record.
Oh, yeah. You'll probably need 6 or so more to catch up. Hopefully I can do my best to keep ahead like you did in the Super Bowl, get a couple more.
Oh, man.
But yeah, we did a trophy presentation a couple days ago. How did you like the way the trophy looked? I know people see that on YouTube.
Absolutely love it. I mean, like Tiger did an amazing job on that trophy, man. He's getting better and better with every trophy, and I can't wait to it's making everybody in the league strive to get that championship so they can get one. Like, I mean, the color schemes are amazing. Like, he's very good at that right now. For somebody
beautiful
like
trophy.
First time trying, yeah, it's very beautiful. I love it actually.
Mike, Hosiana, either you guys see the trophy presentation on YouTube yet?
I saw the first one when it was done for Matt, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm talking about the one for Harris this year. No, you didn't see it? Well, what about you, Mike? Did you see it?
I did watch it. It was a great presentation. It was great having Matt come in and kind of hand that off. I like the thought behind doing that.
Yeah.
Trophy looks amazing, and I guess we're having the NFC trophy too, AFC NFC trophies.
Yes, Tiger created an NFC AFC trophy, so I guess I can at least have a consolation prize, the team trophy coming in. Compared to the other trophy, but still, right, exactly. But either way, I mean, there's a lot of hard work done in this league by a lot of different members, trade committee members, people who make the trophies, people who post to make sure all the game, a lot of members care. So that's another reason why our league always stays full, and we're in season 5. We're already to week 3 within a 1 week. So I'm looking forward to just next Madden. After this season, I'm looking forward to the next Madden to see if we can get 6 seasons in. That's how excited I am. So let's move right along. We can do the NFL standings. Any of you guys up to doing that?
See where we at.
Okay, let me do something.
All right. Well, let's see. I have it up here. I can knock it out. You got it?
I've got it up.
One of you guys take care of it.
You want that, Mike?
I'll go ahead and take it. So right now, AFC North, Browns are leading. 2 wins, 1 loss in the third week. Ravens are 1-1, and the Bengals are 1-2. God love the Steelers, bringing it up in the rear just like always. AFC South, Reese is 3-0 with his Colts. Texans are 1-2. Titans and Jags are both 0-3. AFC East. And I'll hold on a second till we get this caught up. Patriots running wild, 2-0. Jets have a hell of an air attack going on, 2-1. Dolphins have been playing some very hard football, 2-1, and the Bills are 1-2. And the AFC West. Chargers continuing on with that Super Bowl win, 3-0. Right behind him are the Broncos 2-0. Chiefs and Raiders are both 1-2. NFC North. Pack is 2-1. Vikings 2-0. The Bears 3-0, and I don't know why this has it listed the way it does on the page. And the Lions 0-3. They've been playing some up and down football. One game they look bad. One game they look decent. So, they're going to pull it together here and get a couple wins this season. NFC South, Falcons are 2-0. Panthers 2-1. Bucks are 0-3, and the Saints are 0-2. So it looks like the NFC South is getting to be a lot more competition.
Yeah, we definitely will see that.
The NFC East, Cowboys are 1-1. Giants 0-2. Skins 0-2. Eagles 0-2.
What?
I know.
Yeah, that's
something
rare
we
for
don't
that
normally
division.
see out of this division.
What?
And the NFC West. Seahawks are leading 3-0. Niners right behind them at 2-0. Cardinals 2-1, and the Rams are 1-1. So that finishes up our stats.
Thank you very much,
standings.
Mr. Mike. Appreciate that. And you're right. That is a really weird look over there in the NFC East. I know we're real early, so the records are going to be kind of crazy. But, yeah, seeing all those losses. We got one team that's pretty much been on the AP, since, I don't know, the playoffs started, the Eagles. But both the Giants and Redskins have both been fighting hard. And the Cowboys, I think that their one win is from the Giants. But looks like they're trying to get a little bit of a lead in the NFC East. So we'll see what happens. I believe the NFC West does play the NFC East this year. So we'll see if two teams will come out of the NFC East.
If y'all need anything else up.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I think the next thing we should pull up is the top 10. Now, I actually just got the top 10 done. So I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to call it out, and I want you guys to just let me know how you feel about it. And this is kind of based off from Super Bowl to now. Okay, let me know if there's anybody you disagree with. Now, do you guys want to read it from the top or read it from the bottom?
Go from the bottom.
You want me to put up what the game has?
No. Don't worry about what the game has, because I'm doing it based on from the Super Bowl to now, pretty much. If they haven't lost, they'll probably be ranked over somebody that they either they've beaten before or that type of thing. So you guys let me know what you think. At number 10, we have the Browns at 2-1. And looking at all the teams that were in there, we kind of had talked about this just before we started the show. But all the teams that have one losses, of all the teams that had one loss, to me, the Browns were probably the strongest team out of all of them. I mean, we had the Packers, Cardinals, Jets, Dolphins, Panthers, Rams, Cowboys, and Ravens. Browns, to me, are the strongest team out of all those one-loss teams. I don't feel comfortable ranking any of these other one-loss teams over everyone else that's undefeated. At number 9 at 2-0, we have the Falcons. J.D. Lewis is playing his games, and now there were 2 computer games, but still he's undefeated and leading his division. And that division was won by the Bucks last season. Number 8, we have the Vikings at 2-0, perennial playoff team. I think he's missed the playoffs this entire Madden. Anybody can correct me on that? The Vikings made the playoffs this Madden?
I think at least once. I think
once.
Once.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're leading, and they're always a tough out with Patrick Mahomes and those 2 X-Factor receivers. So they're 2-0 doesn't surprise me. Oh, yeah, Hosian, let us know if there's any comments on YouTube, because I'm sure if someone's watching, they'll correct us. At number 7, we have the Patriots at 2-0. The Patriots made the playoffs last season or season before last, and so they pretty much had a strong off season. The only reason I haven't ranked over the Browns is because they're still undefeated. At number 6, we have the Colts at 3-0, leading the division. We won in the playoffs last season, continuing, with their good record. And a lot of people who play them this season, can attest to how good the Colts are. Now we have probably the second hottest team in the NFC. The Bears, they were on a 12-game win streak, and they're still on a win streak now. They're 3-0. They're at number 5. What's that?
Isaiah said that the Vikings made it twice.
The Vikings made it twice, 10-4. I appreciate you correcting us, Isaiah. That's the Browns, Isaiah, or is that Zay?
Should be the Bears.
The Bears.
Bears, okay, yeah. Isaiah Thompson. Yeah, well, number 5 team will correct us on that. That's his division. Well, they're 3-0 right now, leading that division. Number 4, we have the Broncos making the playoffs for the first time in season 4 after 2 8-8 seasons. So that's impressive. Have them ranked at number 4. Playoff team versus a non-playoff team. That's why I have them ranked over the Bears. At number 3, we have the Seahawks at 3-0. And the only reason why I have them ranked under the number 2 team is the head-to-head. 49ers beat them last. And, 49ers haven't lost yet. And obviously, there's no secret the number 2 team was the representative of the NFC in the Super Bowl, 2-0. And number 1 team is the reigning FNG Super Bowl champion, the Chargers, at 3-0. And that is FNG top 10. Anybody disagree?
Where'd you rank the Colts at?
Colts are number 6, above the Patriots, Vikings, Falcons, and Browns.
Okay.
Undefeated.
Gotcha.
And playoff team.
Yeah, that's still a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Still winning away.
Yeah, a lot of 1-win teams. So it's early. You know what I mean? It's top 10. To me, it's kind of weak because it's just too early. Anything could happen in the first couple of weeks. Usually it takes about 4 or 5 games. But I know by the next time we do a show, we'll have enough games and weeks in to really have a robust top 10. But just to get it out the way. Mike, do you have any stats for us? Any lead? I know we're only barely 3 games in, but any guys standing out in reference to the stats?
So
This might be an opportunity, Jose, to pull the stats up, stat leaders up.
Good luck keeping up there.
Tell me where you want to go, and I'll get it in there.
Quarterbacks first. So I pulled the stats right after advance of week 2. So, these are, week 1, week 2 stats.
You got quarterbacks, you said?
Yep. So Sam Darnold is leading with a major air attack, 648 passing yards in 2 games.
Jeez.
The Broncos, Gerald Edwards has thrown for 7 touchdowns. And Josh Rosen continuing on from last season with the 145.7 quarterback rating. Now on to our halfbacks. Yeah, and this is major rushing this season. What we're looking at here has stats for first 3 games, which is still ridiculous. But pulled up after week 2, McCaffrey had 461 rushing yards.
Wow.
Devontae Freeman, 6 touchdowns. And his second game was just absolutely amazing what he was doing with Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, we watched that game. That was pretty good too.
And at the end of week 2, we have 3 halfbacks who had 43 carries. The Ronald Jones II from the Buccaneers, Zeke Elliott, and the Titans' Derrick Henry.
Okay.
On to wide receivers. Only makes sense since Sam Darnold was leading in passing that we have Robbie Anderson with 421 receiving yards.
Kind of misleading what I got up. This is like all of week 3.
Yeah, you got part of week 3 in there too. Deebo Samuels had 5 touchdowns. And Robbie Anderson again with 19 receptions. And wow, in week 3 had 11 more.
I think he's leading in the league up.
Yep. All right, on defense. Interception leader is Roquan Smith with 4. Forced fumbles. Everybody's hit sticking this season. I'm not even calling it out. There's 6 players at the end of week 2 that had 2 forced fumbles.
Oh, okay.
There's Bobby Wagner there, Tranks.
Yep.
Yeah, that effer.
Jatavis Brown from the Chargers is leading with 6.5 sacks. And we have 3 players with 18 tackles each. Landon Collins from the Redskins, Eric Wilson from the Chargers, and A.J. Robertson from the Rams. And not taken away from defense, defensive touchdowns. I'm not listing this one out either because 12 players have 1 defensive touchdown each.
Majority
That's
are from
funny.
the Chargers.
And that is crazy having that many defensive touchdowns.
A lot of CPU games too, so
Yeah.
a lot of crazy stuff happens the first couple of weeks.
All right, special teams. Shane Graham and Max McDougall from the Cardinals. Both have 4 out of 4 extra points made, or field goals. Joey Sly from the Chargers, 12 of 12 on extra points. And Jimmy McLaughlin from the Chargers has 4 touchdowns on his punts.
Okay.
Now for the longs. Longest punt, Falcons Jordan Berry with 72 yards.
Jeez.
Longest field goal is Green Bay's Jake Elliott, 56 yards.
Not bad.
You're trying to keep up.
That'll
Longest
be a beat
interception.
eventually.
Longest interception, and I think this one's going to stand. Cowboys Rod Morgan at 104 yards.
Ooh, he brought that out the end zone.
Yes.
Brave man.
Yeah, I think that was against the Giants.
Wow.
Yes, it was. The longest rush is Zeke Elliott for 98 yards. He did that
was
against the Niners.
Me. That was against me. I was not happy.
The longest pass combination is Jared Goff to John Ross III for 85 yards.
Not surprised.
Wow, surprise. John Ross.
I'm not.
The longest kick return, Chargers Tyrell Baldwin, 98 yards.
The rookie.
Wow.
The rookie. We're cool it.
And we haven't seen many punt returns of any value yet this year. Brandon Kemp from the Panthers is 37 yards.
That's the longest. Okay.
That's the longest. Yeah, so.
Nobody scored.
And nobody has scored off a punt return yet. And that's the list.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Appreciate you also hosting on, trying to keep up, even though the stats were a game ahead. Now, going through weeks 1 through 3, moving right along, any games stand out in the first couple weeks?
Let's see.
I'm going to look at the schedule there.
Yeah, week 1 right now. That's where we're in now. Week 1.
Let me go to that.
Jets all over Miami, 42-18. That was a big whooping. Cleveland played the computer. Cincinnati, I think, played the computer. Atlanta at Jacksonville. That game was a lot closer than I expected. J.D. Lewis has been away. He was getting some personal stuff squared away, and this was probably one of his first games back. And it was good to see another user stay with the Atlanta in this game, because I know, based on the amount of yards the Falcons put on the ground with their running backs. Let's look at this game, see how many yards he put down on this one. Marlon Mack had 14 carries for 177 yards, 12.6 yards a carry. And the only reason why I even look at the rushing stats here is because he was on another team last season, the Giants, where the guy couldn't get anything done with them. And I was watching these games and how just effectively JD was navigating not even his best running back, but he just seemed to have a lot of success with Marlon Mack. So was happy to watch this game. And obviously he did well with Devontae Freeman, 11 carries, 60 yards, but it was something to see his first 2 games and see him see the Falcons running that ball. So I was happy to see Jacksonville stay close. See Lions Packers, no surprise there.
Detroit, Texas is pretty close.
Yes, that's a good one too, because we all know Reese Jones ain't scared to pass, but seeing Houston, another not new owner, but an owner that's come back, seeing him staying in that game, it's only 21-14, which potentially means their next game could be closer. Could the challenge for the AFC South title could mean something. So it's good to see that. Carolina all over New Orleans, 45-13. Man, a couple times. San Francisco over Dallas. Ball bounced my way a lot in that game.
Vikings and Raiders.
Raiders. Really close game,
Hossein.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best games I've played in a long time.
Yeah, what do you think it was?
You got me with that fake field goal, man.
Oh yeah, right at the end.
If it wasn't for that, I probably would have had that game.
Yeah. I think it looked real close. I think I was playing my game at the same time you were playing your game. That's why I didn't really get a chance to see that game. But good performance, which is what we want to see. We want to see people who didn't have a good season at least put forward a good effort, and that was definitely you were borderline winning that game most of the game, or at least keeping pace. Eagles at Bills. I think that was a computer game. Giants at Patriots. I watched this game. The Giants did well in the first game, but for some reason they got disconnected. And Tiger lately, when he gets a game disconnected and goes to play again, it's like he loses control of the game. He didn't even score in the second half of the game. He had a pretty good lead, 21-9 at halftime, and then literally gives up 20 points in the second half and doesn't score. It's just, I don't know. Maybe he just got too much Madden fatigue, I guess. I'm sure he was disappointed in that game. And here's a shocker. The Redskins losing to the Cardinals 17-20. Anybody see this game?
I didn't.
I was in the party with Zay when he was playing this game, and he felt frustrated or seemed frustrated this entire first half. He seemed confident, but it felt like once the second half came, I never seen Zay more frustrated than he had been in this game. Couldn't get any offense going. No, just a lot of. He was quiet. Zay was not talking, so he's usually got something to say, even if it's filth, farm filth. But yeah, he was not happy. Haskins threw a 28.5 passer rate, 93 yards. He threw 2 picks. Now, Geis had 16 carries for 201 yards, but he couldn't stop Kyler Murray. Every time Kyler Murray ran the ball, he got almost a first down, 9.4 yards to carry, only like 5 carries. So Yeah, seeing that little dwarf run all over the field, I know it annoys the hell out of me. So I'm sure it was annoying him getting them first downs almost every time he scrambled. So yeah, he was suffice to say disappointed because he had an opportunity with the Cowboys losing and the Giants losing and the Eagles losing to take over the division. Losing didn't help. And obviously Arizona has to keep pace in the NFC West because all the NFC West teams, I think, won except the Cardinals. I mean, except the Rams. So to keep pace, they're going to have to keep winning. Buccaneers at Bears. Bears pretty much doubled up on the Bucks. And like I said, they're keeping that amazing pace. This is right here will be the 13th straight game in a row. They missed the playoffs by kind of just one game, a head-to-head game. So they're right now they're still hot, haven't lost, and I believe they're gonna be good. 31-16. This is a good one for them. Next game we have is the Rams losing to the Seahawks. And a lot of people that were watching this game, I apologize, Hoshan. It wasn't your game that I was playing. I was playing a game. I was playing my game during the Seahawks and Rams game because Tiger was telling me every time I had scored, the Seahawks scored. So a lot of people thought the Seahawks might not pull this out. And I talked to Matt after the game, and he said he believes that the Rams are really playing tougher this year, tougher than they have I guess the past 4 seasons. He was impressed with this game. Being able to eke this one out by 4 points kind of shows everybody, like you said, Harris, everyone's stepping their game up this season.
Mm-hmm.
And you beat up on the Chargers. I mean, you beat up on the Ravens computer, so no surprise there. Week 2, anything stand out here? Week 2.
This one right here.
I played the computer. Which one? Panthers, Packers. Oh yeah. Packers all over the
foot meet butt meet foot.
Yeah. I don't know. I expected Carolina to do a little bit better than that. Guess they're making up for their last game. I'm talking about the Packers.
The Atlanta game wasn't too bad.
The Browns-Cardinals game. Let me tell you something. Reggie posted.
I saw that highlight. Yeah.
Reggie posted a video. He played his uncle, essentially. This is his nephew. Essentially, we're talking about he's less than 30 seconds in the game. Ball's got to be on the 40, 35-yard line. Kyler Murray runs around a little bit and then throws this bomb to the left corner. Why don't you tell us what you saw, Harris? You shaking your head.
I seen the play in development from the moment he hiked the ball. He was literally locked on to that receiver the whole time. I could tell his eyes were on that receiver the whole time. He just drifted out to the left, waited for the route to develop. As soon as he crossed the face of that damn safety, he let that thing go. And I'm like, dude, why did you dive?
But Dill was over there.
But he dove.
It looked like he was covering somebody else.
He could have at least stopped the receiver, but he literally dove after he caught the ball. I'm like, why did he do that? He just run into the guy. Just don't dive.
And he caught it, and I ran up the side of the left side of the sideline, took it right into the end zone and won. I think he left maybe 17 seconds on the clock. It was
to the apartments. Yep.
Yeah, straight to the crib, man.
Straight to the
apartments. That was a good that was a good win. Arizona 38 over Cleveland Browns 34-28. And Minnesota over Detroit. It's kind of what we've seen. We've seen this game before. Ravens and Steelers was a computer game. Tennessee Atlanta. I think this was a computer game.
That was a computer game. That was
Wow.
So JD played offense only in that game.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in a party with him. Yeah,
we were in a party with him, and we thought he was going to lose because Titans just
kept
scoring every single time. So if you're playing a computer game, don't just play offense only,
because he almost lost that game.
Yeah, but that game, his rushing game was on point.
Devontae Freeman, 21 carries, 348 yards, 5 touchdowns.
And Marlon Mack
16
had
yards a carry.
120 some yards rushing in that one.
No,
too?
13 carries, 80 yards, 6.2 yards a carry.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was a great game, great rushing game.
Derrick Henry didn't do too bad for Tillman either. I mean, 75 yards, 14.
4 TDs, 29 carries, not bad. That's a workhorse.
Big boy.
Yeah, but letting the computer play defense almost cost him that game.
yes.
Miami over Buffalo. Miami beating Buffalo was a good game.
Wow.
In overtime.
I missed this, but this went to overtime. Anybody see this game?
I watched it until overtime. Unfortunately, I had some things I had
domestic
to do.
responsibilities. I understand.
Yes.
Some mic
This was in
action.
them. Yeah. This is an important divisional game because Buffalo has dominated that division since Dorian Gray got there. And is this his second loss or is this his first loss?
First loss. Or Bill's second loss.
It's his first loss. It's his first loss. But those divisional games are important because for the Dolphins to win this game to keep it competitive in that division, Patriots are trying to make the playoffs. So this is an important win for the Dolphins. Moving right along, we have the Jags Texans whooping. I think this might have been a computer game. Chargers Chiefs. That wasn't a computer game, but I kept seeing the ticker going up every time Harrison scoring.
That game,
and Harrison, like he was mad, he got 3 points.
I
Melvin Gordon. Every time I looked
was pissed he got 3 points.
It was another game I was watching at the same time. Every time I looked up, Melvin Gordon was running downfield. How many yards rushing did he get in this game?
My passing yards was terrible.
7 carries.
Passing yards.
All right, Melvin Gordon, 7 carries, 215 yards, 30.7 yards, 31 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he needed that. You see the passing?
Yeah, look at the passing.
Andrew Carl, Super Bowl winning quarterback, 37 yards passing.
It
2
was
for
raining.
7.
It was raining, and he kept overthrowing people. So I just gave up. I said, Melvin, here you go. And I said, I just got to play solid defense, and that's what I did.
Yeah,
wow.
He had a ton of picks.
Yeah.
When I started watching the game, it was like pick after pick after pick. I'm like, wow.
You get a pick. You get a pick. Everybody get a pick.
How many picks did he get? Oh, jeez. Derwin James got 2. Eric Wilson had 2. Jeez.
Yeah, they both have a touchdown apiece.
Trevor Williams had 1. Dang.
Yeah, it was interception after interception.
Mm.
Man, and both Wilson and Derwin James had a TD. Jeez. Yeah. They didn't show up to that one.
Did was that Philly and Rams game? Was that actually played?
CPU.
Okay.
This is the second CPU game for the Eagles.
Hmm.
We're going to have to address that. I think we will address that. Right now, he plays the Eagles play for week 3, the Redskins this week.
Yeah.
If they don't get that done, we might have to put somebody in his place. Broncos over the Raiders. I guess Hosiana had his daughter playing this game for him, 24-42. Kind of like how my son playing my Super Bowl game for me.
Constructed in the second quarter there. So.
All you gotta do is just play Mike Evans. That's all you gotta do. Play Mike Evans. And,
I figured stuff out too late, but it's compared to my previous games against him, this is a lot better. So
Lindsey, 14 carries, 108 yards, which is not bad actually. He usually tries to give him more attempts than 14 because he wants him to do well. So you were able to limit him.
Yeah, I couldn't get my running game going. That's what killed me. Because my first game, Grant was all over the place, and then I finally had Carr. He was throwing up the ball, but then turnovers Just so
and Mike Evans.
Yeah,
seven receptions for 145, 20 yards of reception. And then Mr. I am slow.
Oseon.
4 receptions for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think the D-backs need to get some extra practice at week 3.
He had a lot of playmaker plays though too, man, where he just got those guys open.
Is that the
Running
rookie
around.
he drafted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says I'm slow.
Yeah.
And I drafted somebody next to it. It was face.
Yeah, he wasn't happy in that draft.
He wasn't. And my rookie got a 98-yard kick return now. I know he's mad about that.
Though, so I give him credit.
He got the number 54,
Mr. Harmonica
man.
went to Seattle. Mr. Harmonica went to Seattle and got drummed. Max been licking his chops since the NFC Championship to play this game. Todd Gurley was first. So Russell Wilson, perfect quarterback rating, but only had 96 yards and 1 touchdown, nothing. Todd Gurley, 9 carries, 148 yards, 16.4 yards to carry, 2 touchdowns. Then the backup came in, 5 carries, 141 yards, 20 point. This was complete and total domination on the ground. I mean, he did give Seattle did give up 114 yards on the ground, but that was on 21 carries. Really,
this is interesting. This is very interesting because Carlson's gone. Penny comes in, and he's actually faster than Carlson, and he's been dominating. So
yeah,
keep your eye on
that.
Well,
Matt was able to.
So he can have both running backs. Remember, he went into the playoffs with 2 running backs last season.
So. I think Carlson was hurt in the last playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched this game, and Matt has changed. He's added some stuff to his game. I didn't see anything different in this game. He just ran his normal stuff and was just running all over him. So, I mean, I don't think anyone was really surprised other than maybe Tiger. Cowboys over the Redskins week 2. That was a big one. Shutting the Redskins out the first half.
Wow.
Haskins, another bad game, 2 picks, 54.9 rating. Geis only had 52 yards rushing. Bad passing and bad rushing. That doesn't surprise me. He only has 1 touchdown.
Points. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's better than that. But
the Jets New England game seemed pretty interesting there.
Definitely. Did you check that one out? Oh my God, 14-13. Patriots at Jets. Another AFC East division game is a Thursday night game too. And that AFC East. I mean, this is going to be the final season. All 4 of those guys, the same guys, are together, and they are doing their best to keep this as tight as possible in this game.
Seemed like they did a lot more passing than running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold did just enough passing to kind of eke this one. Well, actually, he lost this game. Was it turnover? Was it a fumble? No. Jeez, Le'Veon Bell with 35 yards? That don't even seem right.
Oh, he is not using Lev Bell.
Wow, that's
he's just throwing the ball.
He throws and throws and throws.
Yeah, slinging that rock. I think this season too.
I want to say this is the one. There was one game I was watching the Patriots where Cooper Kupp was just killing somebody. I mean, just catching everything. But this one, N'Keal Harry and Cooper Kupp seemed like they had a pretty good day. Nothing really stands out looking at that game.
Nothing really.
Yeah, so one guy did better than the other though.
Yeah.
Oh man, Von Miller, 11 tackles, 5 sacks. Ooh.
Oh, well, that's probably it.
Hmm.
I think I was even talking about Von Miller not being the normal. No, that was the Dolphins.
Bears.
Was it the Bears? Or somebody said Von Miller is not the same Von Miller that he's been. I want to say it was the Dolphins. 5 sacks.
Might have been.
All right, well. All right, moving on to week 3. we pretty much have every game played except 1, 2, 3. With 4 games left to play. The Redskins at Eagles, Falcons at Vikings, and Rams at Giants, and Patriots at Broncos. Of all these games, I'm looking forward to seeing really just the Rams at Giants and Patriots at Broncos. Well, you know what? No, Falcons at Vikings. That one's going to be good, mainly because I believe this is JD's real first
challenge.
Because the Vikings, like I said, they're really good. They're usually a game or two away from making the playoffs. And based on what the Bears told us, they've made it twice in the last 4 seasons. So this should tell us if the Falcons are the real deal or not. Because if you look at the Falcons defense, they're actually rated really well. A lot of hard hitters, a lot of good cornerbacks and defensive linemen. So we'll see how this game turns out, because the Falcons usually broadcast. And the Patriots at Broncos, I want to see how Gerald Evans, the quarterback for the Broncos, does against Vaughn Miller, returning to play his former team. One former playoff team, other one's a playoff team playing each other. Outside of that, any other games this week stand out?
That Bills and Chargers game.
I knew it was
what happened
coming.
in that game?
I knew
man?
it was coming. I jumped out there early. Got a nice significant lead on them. I think it was
14-3.
Yeah. No, it was more than 14-3. I think about a half. I think I was up 28-3 or 21-3. But Dorian is the type of guy, Dorian Gray, nobody knows the Bills owner. He's the guy that just doesn't give up. You got to play all 4 quarters with him.
Yes.
And I slightly took my foot off the gas, and next thing you know, I look up and he was like right there in my back pocket, like, God damn, he's still here. Like, it's just, I couldn't get away from him, but I just held the ball. I held the ball at the end and tried to hold him off as best as I could. I did get a good 4 picks off of him, I believe. And my QB did significantly well. Melvin did good. He had 1 fumble. It was a big fumble, actually. I think that kind of swung the momentum in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a run to the right, and his linebacker out of nowhere, that big 6'5" guy that's number 5 on his team, whatever his name is, Tremaine Evans or something, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Stripped the hell out of Melvin, and yeah, that kind of turned the game around right there, in his favor to swing the momentum. Other than that, Dorian just kept fighting, got me with a couple plays deep with Perryman, and I just did my best to hold him off.
28 points in the 4th quarter is impressive. That's what I'm telling you. That AFC East is very, very competitive. It's much different than where they've been historically. Everybody is making it a game. I'm kind of happy to see that. AFC East,
28 points in the second half.
Yeah, he scored 28 points in the second half. I don't know what I said before.
You said 4th quarter.
Yeah, no, not in the 4th quarter. Damn. He scored 28 points in the second half after being, pretty much almost shut out in the first half, and lost this one by 3. So, great game. I mean, you ultimately had the time of possession by 3 minutes, and you won the turnover battle too. So, 1-3. So. That kept you in the game, even though his defense stiffened.
Yeah,
you were able to pull it out.
He was trying to hit stick every time he got a chance. I was like, goodness, guys missing left and right, and a couple times he got me. Dorian's, man, I like playing him because it's unpredictable. You never know what you're going to expect, but you're going to get 4 quarters of straight football.
Yeah, I've lost a game to him when he was the Seahawks, where I was ahead, trying to roll my way into the playoffs, and this dude scored way too many points in the second half. I don't know I don't believe I took my foot off the gas either. I just believe he's just that good.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna keep my big toe in the gas pedal from now
on. Yeah,
all the way to the floor.
But that wraps up the first 3 weeks. You guys want to go over a game of weeks next week, or anything stand out next week?
Week 4.
Redskins at Packers. That's a revenge game. Let's see. Ravens and Seahawks is going to be a computer game. Jets at Dolphins.
And what about that Niners-Rams game? We're not going to talk about that one?
Well, honestly,
Like,
I hope it's a good game for the away team. I mean, I don't know. We always have a good game. I mean,
the Browns, what is it? The Browns and Broncos will be a good game.
That should be good.
Game.
That should be interesting.
Browns,
Vikings,
Broncos,
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Patriots, Raiders.
A good game if they both decide to show up.
Yeah. I want to see this Redskins Packers team, see how Zay bounces back. Yeah. Zay has no wins. The Packers have one loss.
That's
and they have to keep pace with these Bears, man. They cannot afford to lose. Vikings in the same situation. They have to keep pace with the Bears and the Packers. Cardinals obviously got to keep pace with the 49ers and Seahawks. So, you know, a lot of good games here.
Yeah.
Texans at Falcons. This is the Texans' real challenge. See what they do. So it's a couple games worth keeping your eyes on. Okay. So we'll pencil those in for games of the week. Make sure you broadcast those games. I wanted to bring up some different news, potentially a rule change. I think I mentioned it in the post on the Facebook page. And I wanted to bring it up here before I put the post there for people to vote on. And what the rule change is based on is player position changes. Essentially, the way we have it now, there's somebody who's responsible for evaluating, hey, if I want to switch one player, tight end to quarterback, or running back to halfback, running back to fullback, or whatever. Right. And I believe he's done a good job. He volunteered for a job that I think a lot of people had not volunteered to do. I'm proud of the job that he's done. But my thought process was I'm trying to streamline this whole process, because it just feels like there's an easier way to do it. And I think I came up with something, and I wonder, run it by the three of you guys here. You tell me what you think. And so here's what the new rule would be that I'm going to put up there that we have to change from what the old one is. Essentially, all position changes that you can make in the depth chart are automatically approved. So if you can go in the depth chart and change that guy's and substitute that guy in that position, it's considered an automatic change. Like you can turn quarterback to kicker and kicker to quarterback. It's up to you. You go to halfback, you can change the fullback to halfback. On fullback, you can change a halfback to fullback. You can change a fullback to halfback, a tight end to halfback if you want. You go to wide receiver, you can change a tight end to wide receiver. But, and you look at tight end, you can change the offensive lineman to tight end, but that and we'll fullback to tight end. But you see that it's kind of blocked when it comes to changing a wide receiver to tight end, because you can't substitute in the depth chart a wide receiver at tight end. You can only substitute a tight end at wide receiver. Understand? So if it's a substitution you can do for a position, a specific position, an actual position, it's an automatic switch. Left tackle to right tackle, or any of these guys, right guard to center to tight end, you can put them on offensive line. It's kind of the same theory. And the only real exceptions because they're not actually positions, are the specialty positions. Third down running back is not a position. Power halfback is not a position. Slot wide receiver is not a position. Sub linebacker is not a position. Slot cornerback is not a position. That's not an actual position. It's got to be one of the main positions you can make substitutes for. So don't use when you're trying to say, hey, I want to switch my safety to linebacker. Is that an option here? Free safety. Only options you have for free safety are cornerbacks and safety and strong safety. You don't have an option to put a linebacker at safety. At strong safety, same thing, right? You go to linebackers. At linebacker, the only people you can change the linebackers are ends, middle linebackers, and outside linebackers. And at middle linebacker, obviously, you can switch the left outside and right outside to middle because there's substitutes. Is that simple enough? I mean, it sounded kind of convoluted with me just explaining it, but does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, I actually like it.
Kind of cleans it up, makes it real simple. You don't have to think about it as long as it's an actual position that you can physically substitute the person in for, and it's not one of those specialty ones I mentioned, slot cornerback, slot linebacker, nickel linebacker, or sub linebacker. Those are not positions. It's got to be the actual position. If you can supplement in that position, you can switch it to them. Any questions? Anything unclear? Mike, Hossein?
No. I mean, I think Billups has done a great job.
Yeah, he definitely has.
And I also think he catches a lot of flack from people after he evaluates the position changes that, you know, he doesn't need to be taking.
Right.
So I think this will take a lot of that off of him.
Yeah. And even if and that's the thing, even if it's a decision that I don't agree with, I respect the fact that he even took the time out of his life to even do it, because this is the job that he volunteered for, and he essentially is helping Hossein and myself to not have to do the job, and I really feel like this will make the job easier for him, because really only thing he has to evaluate is anything outside of this. He has to evaluate, and that's a little bit easier to be like, maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, you still have to, run it by him. But to me, this streamlines it a bit. So, if you can substitute, you can do the change without a problem. And I don't mean when you're inside a game, click on the RB and you manually substitute the person. That's not what I mean. I mean, on the depth chart, you have to be able to make the substitution for you to be able to switch from that position to that position. And as you see with the least wide receiver to tight end, you can't do that. That's not a position you can do. So to jump ahead and get ahead of the eventual question, what if the guy's already switched from wide receiver to tight end? Can I switch him back? Well, the answer is no. And this is the exception to that rule, okay? If, let's say, I switch a guy from tight end to wide receiver, and I played him like that, and eventually I just either let him go, cut him, or trade him. The new team, if they want, they can switch that person who was a tight end, who's now a receiver, back to tight end. What they have to do for that to happen, they have to search. It's going to be their job to do it. It's not going to be Steven or myself or anyone's job. You got to prove that guy was a tight end, switched from a tight end to a wide receiver. That's the only way you're going to be able to get it done. You got to pull it up, got to pull the post up and say, hey, I want to switch him back to this position. And more often than not, they're like, yeah, he was a tight end before, go ahead. That's probably going to be the best way to get a guy switched back from the position that he just got switched to. And, we'll try and field any other problems that we run into, but I kind of just want to make things a bit easier. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
I'll put this up for a vote.
Jose says no.
No, doesn't make sense? Oh, he's just being stupid.
We just have to make
Devil's advocate.
Huh?
I just said we'll just have to, once we make the post and people vote.
Yeah, it'll sound a whole lot better than the way I just explained it. I just kind of wanted to get it out there, see if anybody on YouTube who was watching had any commentary or I think that there was a way the system could be broken. Right now, just from what I see, if you can supplement to this position, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to switch him to that position because he's going to be able to play the position anyway. So to me, it seems easier. And second little announcement along those lines is going forward until I hear differently when it comes to making these approvals, I'm going to be the one that's going to be handling the position changes until I hear differently from Mr. Billups. He's going to take a leave of absence from that position and probably be on AP for a couple games so he gets some things worked out at home and at work. But I'm not taking it over the job permanently. I'm just giving him a break so he can handle his business at home and at work. And once he gets that squared away, he'll let us know and he'll be back to doing what he was doing. So any questions along those lines, you can post them in the vote. Obviously, you can message me directly. Everyone knows my name. My gamer tag's Philly Jedi. PHILY space Jedi, and I can inbox me on the page. And right now, we do not have any open positions as far as open ownership positions to run a team here. Now, if the Eagles continue to not play their games, the minute I feel that that's the case, I'm going to talk with Hosian and we're going to discuss getting him replaced if he doesn't want to play his games. I'm sure we can find somebody who wants to be in the league as active as this is, being 5 seasons in. Outside of that, everyone's done a phenomenal job that's been in here. Have been playing the games. We've pretty much almost got 3 games done in a week. You guys are really aggressive, eager to play your games, which is what we want. We're trying to make this league better for you. See how we got it now. You can see our screen, so I can see us commenting over top of somebody's broadcast game soon. It's going to be good. We're trying to make this league. We're trying to make the show better. We're trying to make the league better. And you guys are making it easy by doing what you're supposed to do. So that's all I really have. Yeah, huh?
I'm just saying, just piggybacking off what you're saying. We do have our club, on the Xbox.
Yes, and that would help.
If y'all got some highlights, y'all got some stuff going on in your games, and you record them, I can now put them on the podcast. So if you want to talk about a highlight that you did or something that went on, we can definitely, just add something to the show. Let us know. So, feel free to record the clips, upload them. We can definitely play them.
And, to help everybody going forward, to what Hosian just said, those who are broadcasting can't do the Xbox record, but at the end of your game, you can turn your broadcast off, and then you can just do the Xbox record as you review the instant replays. So that'll be a way for you to upload it to the FNG Club. Because we do have an FNG Club where a lot of us are members. If you're not a member, you can just join it. You just search for it, the club, and join it. And then you can upload your Xbox saved videos to that. It's real simple. But that's the way for you to do it if you're a type like me or Matt or Tiger or Harris or Mike who records their games or they play their game. They broadcast the games. When you're broadcasting a game, you can't Xbox record. You have to stop your broadcast. So at the end of the game will be the best time for you to upload that. But yeah, that's another. I'm glad you brought that up, Jose. That's something we could do as a highlight type tape, because he could probably even link a couple of them together and run some highlights with a song going behind him or something. There's a lot we can do.
Indeed.
But I think that's all we have for today's show. You guys got anything before we cut it off? Mike, any closing statements? Hosian, Harris?
Nope.
Well, it was good doing this show. Thanks again, Hosian, for engineering it. Mike and Harris, I really appreciate you guys showing up. And well, that'll be the end of our show until show 22. You guys have a good day.
All right.